Hi, friends. We have been talking about using a metronome in a wide variety of ways. And recently in a video, and I'll put a link at the top, we talked about using the metronome to learn to play faster. And a really great question came from a number of our friends out of that was, well, Scott, that's really great. You could use the metronome to play faster, but when do you stop? What is the target pace at which you could play a tune? And so that's where we're going today. How do you decide the target beats per minute of a tune? So what a metronome basically does is a metronome and metronome is a click. It's a noise. I've got one pulled up here, and 100 beats per minute. I've got it on my iPad. We'll talk about that in a second. That's the click for 100 beats per minute. Now, we're not getting down and dirty on the beats per minute when you're doing a 3/4 time or 4/4 time. Beats per minute work, okay? Because the rule I'm going to share with you is close enough is good enough. There is no exact, here's why I say that. There is no exact number of beats per minute for a tune. For example, if you were to go online and you were to look up what is the number of beats per minute at which I should play a reel, you're going to get an answer that says, well, most reels are played between 100 beats per minute and 120 beats per minute. That's a pretty wide range. Well, what's the range for a jig? And you're going to get an answer something like, well, most jigs are played at like between 115 and 135 beats per minute. That's a pretty big range. Well, what's the recommended beats per minute of a waltz, an Irish waltz? And you're going to get something like around 100 beats per minute. And then you're going to say, wait a minute, the reel was 100 beats per minute. At the bottom, how in the world is a reel and a waltz 100 beats per minute? They sure don't feel like it. That's some of that. See, it gets more complicated. The duration of each note in a reel is very short, and the duration of each note in a waltz is longer. Close enough is good enough. There's a range of beats per minute. So I'm going to give you an explanation of how to use a metronome to find the number of beats per minute that will become your target beats per minute for playing a tune. And I'll show you how to use the metronome to determine at what beats per minute you're currently playing a tune. So it works. Now, real quickly on a metronome. A metronome is a tool. I am not going to show us how to dive deep into using a metronome. I'm not going to show us how to fine tune using a metronome for 3/4 time as opposed to 9/8 time as opposed to 4/4 time. I'm just after the driving beat to learn at how fast you could play it, and the driving beat to figure out how fast you're playing it, and then to help you move between that range. And that's a good thing. And so a metronome can do so stinking much. Don't drive down that road unless you just want to. You don't even have to buy a metronome. You could download a free metronome app. Or what I do, I go to a web browser. I pulled up Google and I typed in online metronome. It gave me links, but it pulled one up here at the front, here at the top. There's a metronome right there, and I can increase the pace and decrease the pace. That's all I'm interested in. And so the idea is, here's how to do this. it feels like it should be complicated. What you do is you go to your favorite music source. In this example, I'm going to use YouTube because we're on YouTube, right? And pull up the tune. For example, we recently introduced the Fox Hunter slip jig. I'll put a link up here to where I introduced the Fox Hunter slip jig. Was that that was yesterday, according to when I'm recording this. And then find some groups playing the Fox Hunter slip jig. And then you'll start them playing the Fox Hunter slip jig and do this for 2 or 3 different groups because everybody plays at a different pace. And from that, you're going to say, I like that pace. Maybe you could just do it that way. I like how they play it. Then figure out their pace and learn to play it at that pace. So you pull up your favorite music person, group, and you start them playing. You have the Metronome app open, set it to 100 beats per minute. That's kind of like a great starting point. And then, this is a lot of feel, and then adjust the metronome until it feels like they're at the same pace. And that's your beats per minute. That's your target. Now, I like to use groups. However, since I don't want to fall foul of any copyright laws, I'm going to use a flute teacher that I really like and appreciate, and I think you'll like. I've already recommended her in the past, Shannon Heaton. I'll put a link to her channel in the bottom. She does a great job introducing tunes, introducing the feel and flow of a tune, and playing the tune for us. I introduced the Fox Hunters yesterday, and I'm interested, what is my target pace on that? I would do 2 or 3 groups. I'm just going to do Shannon right now. Normally, I wouldn't do one person teaching it, but she does play it through. Interestingly, I've noticed Shannon changes the pace. See, close enough is good enough. So I'm going to get Shannon started, and then the metronome at 100 beats per minute. I'm going to try and get it to where it feels the same. The metronome is lagging behind. Come on, metronome. I'm going to hit the plus sign. I'm going to go up like 6 beats per minute. She's still going faster. 110. 112. Now the metronome might be a little faster. All right, whoops, pause the metronome. Okay. I didn't get it exact. It's somewhere around 110 beats per minute. That's what I'm going to write down. Now I'm going to listen to, I won't do it now with us. I'm going to listen to 2 other people, 2 groups playing it. I've got around 110 beats per minute. I'm going to listen to somebody else playing it, and I'll get around. Do you see how it kind of felt like they were moving at the same pace? Let me do Shannon again. I'm going to go to her playing Inisheer, which is a waltz, which is a lot slower. It feels a lot slower. I'm going to start at 100 beats per minute. Here we go. That was slow. Still slow at 104 beats per minute. Still slow. 110 beats per minute. baby, she was humming at almost 120 beats per minute. I think that for me, I love her stuff, but that's too fast for me. I'm going to find a version that is played at the pace I like. So I'm not going to count that speed. I'm going to go and find another. So that's what you do. You start a version you appreciate and like the pace of that tune. Then you start your metronome at 100 beats per minute and you adjust the metronome up and down until the metronome is playing at what feels like the same pace moving forward. You write it down and that's your target pace. That might be my target pace, but how do I decide where I am today? Because I want where I am today and I want to add like 5 beats per minute to that. So I do the same thing to myself. This is a little harder. I'm going to start playing the Fox Hunter jig just at a moderate pace and see how I'm thinking. Dun, 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 Let me see if I can play to that. Okay, that's just the core of the tune. Sweet. I started at 100 beats per minute. I'm fine. 100 beats per minute is a good pace for me to learn to play the tune. So I know that I've got up here I've written down my faster beats per minute from listening to like 2 to 3 groups that I like how they play it. I've got the pace of the tune written down, and that's my goal. I now know that I could play it at 100 beats per minute, but now, and I'm not going to do that now, but I need to go through with ornamentation. Can I play it at 100 beats per minute with ornamentation? When I can, I add a couple of beats per minute, use the metronome to keep pace with it, and play it. So really, close enough is good enough. Figure out generally where you are today by starting the metronome and trying to play along with it. Or you could even do it that way. Start the metronome. Can I play at that pace? Okay. Add a couple beats per minute. Can I play it at that pace? Pretty soon, you'll find a pace at which you can't play it. Back it off. That's the pace at which you could play it. Then listen to people. Get the metronome going while you're listening to your favorite recordings of this tune. And then when it feels like they're marching forward at the same pace because you're adjusting the metronome, then that's your target pace. So you've got where you are today, you've got your target pace, and then you just incrementally practice with the metronome, increasing at a few beats per minute. So that's how, my friends, how you establish your pace and your target pace. And you already know from our previous video that recommendation of just add a few beats per minute and get better at a few beats per minute, add a few more until you reach the target. I hope this is helpful. Please ask any clarifying questions you need to. Shoot them in the comments. If this is helpful, please like the video. It helps more friends find our community. I so want us to help more people learn to play the low whistle. The high whistle, every other whistle under the sun, but we're focused on the low D whistle here. But we do play tons of other whistles. So if you're brand new here and you're just checking us out, please subscribe. We would love to welcome you as a contributing member of this community by just chiming in with great comments. I so appreciate our time together. Until next time, my friends, this is Scott Shade. Happy whistling.